course, San Francisco's best known and biggest economic driver as a business is the tourism industry. And certainly there is no greater cheerleader for San Francisco than its official cheerleader in chief, as I call him, Joe D'Alessandro, President and CEO of San Francisco Travel. Joe, welcome to the Great Pause.
Hey, David, how are you doing?
I'm fine. So before we get into it, let me ask you, where were you when you first heard about San Francisco's shelter-in-place orders, and what was your first thought?
So I was actually in my office, heard on the mayor's announcement. We had already been kind of warned about it with the state of emergency being called on the 25th of February. So, and we were watching what was happening in the rest of the world. I was paying close attention to what was going on in Italy because I have a lot of family there, and they had already been in sheltered in place aggressively for a couple of weeks before that. So we had a sense it was coming, and we took immediate action by preparing our offices and making sure our staff were safe, and closing down in-office operations and transferring to mobile operations to continue our work of making San Francisco a desirable destination to go to, even if you can't come to it today.
Mm-hmm. So, Joe, let's get right to the economic fallout of COVID-19. How bad a hit is this for San Francisco's much vaunted tourism industry? And with that as the bad news, how long do you think it will be before we begin to crawl out of it? Not even finish crawling out of it, before we begin to crawl out.
So it has been devastating. Nothing we've ever seen before in the history of modern travel and tourism has impacted not only tourism in San Francisco, but global tourism the way COVID-19 has. In fact, already the U.S. Travel Association is saying that the economic impacts of this is 9 times worse than it was for after 9/11. And it's going on, and it's having a very long effect. You know, we don't anticipate seeing much recovery until maybe mid to late summer, early fall, and that's just the beginning. As you said, this is going to take a very, very long time to come out from. And we're anticipating that we won't see levels that we saw and enjoyed in 2019 until maybe as late as 2023 or 2024. So this recovery from this is going to take a very long time.
Right, and what are some of the variables? I mean, I'm a great believer in optimism. I like to call it pragmatic optimism. San Francisco is a brand known around the world, you know, year after year voted one of the top destinations internationally. When we go to Europe, I mean, we have friends in Italy and family in Spain. They may not know about other cities, but they know about San Francisco. Do you think that that affection for San Francisco will maybe help spur a little bit of a quicker restart?
Absolutely. You know, the people from around the world, when you ask about images of the United States and things that are iconic images of the United States, the top 2 that always come up are the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Gate Bridge. San Francisco has been seen around the world in countless movies and TV shows. Stories have been written about San Francisco. The iconic images of the hills and the parks and the green and the water and everything like that. But most importantly, people are intrigued by the lifestyle of San Franciscans, the DNA that makes San Francisco so very different than the rest of the United States and frankly the rest of the world. Last year, about 64% of all of our tourism spending in San Francisco were by international visitors, the largest percentage of any major city in the country. So the international market is incredibly important for us, and that's the one that we're afraid is going to take the longest to come back from. We're going to need to start seeing lists of travel bans that are right now global. There's a lot of places that you can't leave the country. A lot of countries you can't come to the North America, can't come to the United States. Until those start to lift, until we get air service back, a lot of the air service that we've had have been canceled. So it's going to take a while for us to see that growth in international travel coming back to San Francisco. So what our strategy is really going to be is for the next few months and maybe even a couple of years, really focus on the region, on California and the West, and then the rest of the country, and then ultimately globally again once travel starts happening.
Right, so I guess it's what they call in the business the drive market. How important is the drive market going to be to San Francisco, and how do you shift to make that the emphasis for San Francisco Travel's marketing, or has it always been an emphasis?
It's always been important. There's no question about it. Southern California is our top market. Also in Northern California, you have metropolitan areas like Sacramento or other cities in the Central Valley that are very important for us. So the drive market has always been an important one, and it's always the most resilient and the fastest to come around. After 9/11 and during the economic recession, it was the first market to come back and the first market to really start utilizing all of San Francisco's attractions and restaurants and stuff like that. So we're already pivoted to that. Luckily today, with the way we market globally, with a lot of social media and other things, you can change your focus relatively quickly. We're not giving up on international tourism, though, and we know that we have to continue to inspire people during this period about San Francisco. So we're telling the stories about San Francisco. We just released a video earlier this week about San Francisco Pride, and the fact is San Francisco Pride is more than just an event, but it's a feeling that we have here year-round. And so that's going out to our international markets. And we're still, even though people can't travel right now, we're still trying to inspire them that once they do start traveling, they put San Francisco at the top of their list of places that they want to visit.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the images from your new marketing campaign, how the fog will wait for you.
Yeah.
How hard has this been on you personally to see? I mean, of course, you've had layoffs at San Francisco Travel, to see so many of the tourist destinations here in San Francisco that you cheerlead for, as I like to say. How has this been for you during this great pause, as I call it?
It's been really challenging. Personally, see staff. We had a layoff about 60+% of our staff. The Golden Gate Restaurant Association predicts that as many as 50% of the restaurants in San Francisco will not be able to reopen after this. Many of our small businesses won't be able to reopen. Others will come in their place, but it is a changing point for San Francisco. The city that emerges after COVID-19 will be slightly different than the city that went into COVID-19. We're very resilient in San Francisco. We've been through these crises before. We're also very creative and very entrepreneurial. So I know that there's going to be a lot of really cool new restaurants opening, really cool new shops, but it is going to be different. There's no way we can deny that. We just know that the essence of what makes San Francisco such a unique place is going to live through this, and it's going to be stronger than the virus itself, and that San Francisco will come back. We'll come back differently, but it will come back.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason that your tagline is only in San Francisco, and the city's tagline is the city that knows how. I'm optimistic too. Last question, I'm going to leave on that note. What can people in San Francisco, whether they're in the hospitality and travel industry or not, or whether they are a San Francisco Travel member, and I urge every business to become a member of San Francisco Travel. It's one of the first things I did when I opened my business 30 years ago. What can we as San Franciscans and Northern Californians do to help get San Francisco ready for when that great recovery takes place and tourism comes back?
We can do two main things. One thing, support our small businesses. During the time of shutdown, you can still get a meal, takeout, or delivery from some of the great neighborhood restaurants in San Francisco. I would really focus on that, making sure that you're able to support those businesses that are really struggling today, so that once we come back, they'll be able to have a footing. And then once we start to open in the next month or so, and you see more businesses, more retail establishments being open, support those too. Support those in your neighborhood, support those around town. And then once we start opening to allowing visitors back in, welcome your friends, welcome your family, bring people back into San Francisco, because we've got to have those visitors. The tourism economy is essential for us to go forward, and it's essential for us to get out of this challenge that we're in right now in this great pause.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe. There is a reason that I call you San Francisco's cheerleader-in-chief. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
And we'll be right back with more from The Great Pause.